Also, Tom, I want you to know, I don't know that you've ruined this for me. I think you've enhanced it. Anytime I read the word shrimp in all caps, I hear your voice through that transmogrifier. Like, I can't not hear that now. And I think...
As if there's a Tom behind you
everyone's got a little Tom that lives right behind their ear that's only there for saying shrimp. Everyone has a little Tom inside.
All right, I'm gonna go switch the dryer over before you have to sing about having that.
Personally, I hope that if a song comes through, it requests you to sing about the little Tom inside.
Too late. Go downstairs.
It's already here! Tom! Little Tom, my friend, he is there to send a message into your ear canal. You might be wondering how. It's because he is small. He is only 1 inch tall. He lives up near your brain, but it doesn't cause you to go insane. He hides up there inside your ear, and sometimes you will feel him be near. Then he'll poke his little mouth inside and go shrimp, and then go hide. That's all that the Tom that does. He just likes to do that and then runs. And sometimes you'll find him hiding underneath your couch cushion. That was... And if you find him there, hiding underneath a chair, you can lure him out with some sour cream and mayonnaise kraut. If you get him in your hand, he will take you to a promised land, where there is shrimp on the walls, hammered into the walls. Once you're there, then you will stare at him, and he will tell you, hey, the magic word is Ecclesiastes! Then a secret door will open and you'll go into a moat. That is where you will meet God, and you'll find out that God is a shrimp. Okay, alright. Alright. I hope that you're doing good. I hope your birthday was good. Well, now Tom is back. He is here because he must attack you for trying to eat shrimp. God, he's not for eating, please. You took a fork and a knife, and then you and God had a fight. But Tom serves the Lord, and he had to stop you in your tracks. You wrestled with the shrimp god and you got him by the crawl, and Tom had to turn into Big Tom, really big Tom, like 18 feet tall, and then he dragged you away from God and he took you to Hawaii. That's where you go to a special jail for trying to eat the shrimp god. Okay, so... What the... Well, then you're in jail. You're probably thinking that you failed. But then you meet Evil Tom. Evil Tom he stays in jail. Evil Tom has an evil bomb, and he has an evil mom. They work together and they blow up the jail, and then you can get out of jail. Once you're out, you scream and shout. You're so excited for getting out of jail, but the truth is that you shouldn't go back to God. If you go there, you may want to eat him. You should live a life free of crime, and that is where I stop this rhyme. There's no more to the story. There are no more Toms. Everyone should go home and eat cake. All right, that was a 4-part story.
Lean forward.
4-part story. 4-part story. Except, wait, there's one more part. I forgot about Bart. Bart Simpson, turns out he's real and he is the right man of God. And Tom knows him well from his time when they were in hell. Bart got out, and then Tom said, I guess now I'll work for God. He worked for God for a little bit, and then he decided that he would quit and he'd work for the fairy organization. And the fairy organization is the one that sends people to ears, so he lives in all of people's ears, even though everyone has one. There's really just one, and they share a soul, and they worship the sun, and they talk to God every day.
I think I should just stay downstairs.
I really need
You need what?
I need this to stop. I cannot. There is no brains. No. So, you're wondering what to do now that you've learned all of this information. you've met Bart Simpson and you found out he works for God and Tom did once. Well, Tom approaches you on the street and he says, I think you're neat. Follow me into this alley and give me $60 and I will show you the sun. Then he says, Ecclesiastes. Turns out that works in a lot of different places, and you go into a special door. Turns out you're in hell. Hell was in Boston. Then you go into the hell, and turns out the leader of hell is Satan, but Satan isn't named Satan. He's named the king of all cosmos. Sother says it's true. Boston is hell. This is getting into like big Gorok territory. This is like huge Gorok energy. Wallace Gotham Gorok energy here, which I did not expect. So there you are with him. He is the guy and he's really big. He's the king of all cosmos and you talk to him and he says, hi, I'm not Satan. So you are there with Tom and Tom says, I got $60 from this guy. And he gives it to his mom and his mom puts it in her special purse that holds $60. And then you talk to the king of all cosmos and he says, I have a plan. I want to kill God. And he says that he needs your help. And you say, that's fine. I will do it for you. And then you get in his special car. It's a Lamborghini, but it's only 6 feet long. 6 feet long. Is that a normal Lamborghini? No, it's a little stunted, but that's fine. There are no more rhymes. They're done. They're gone. You killed all of the rhymes. You killed all of the rhymes.
Is that your brain?
Yes. Yes.
Do you need this?
Yes.
It's not cold.
Yes. Now it's time for me to finish up these alerts and show some art and then play the Pokemon. Right? That's what we're about to do. Turns out, Wallace Gotham Gorok, he is a guy and he became a cop. He works as a cop in Boston and he happens to know Satan, I mean the king of all cosmos. You meet Wallace and here's the crossover. They like to get breakfast at IHOP. They go to IHOP all the time. Turns out Wallace knows Satan, it's true. You have a meal with them. He only orders the steak at IHOP. He doesn't even want any of the breakfast stuff. It's super weird, but you try to not judge him. Then when you're done, you say, hey, what's up? And he says, I have to work as a cop, but if you're free this weekend, I would like to try and take down the shrimp god. How is our favorite Gorokian doing? Oh, you know, just working as a cop in Boston. Where Satan lives. Harrowbro. It's a Heracross. Well, you're probably wondering what happens next. I will tell you, and it's the best. Turns out, Wallace graduated from cop school. Then he retired from that, and he decided that he'd do beats that were fat. And he became a rapper and a DJ, and he works in New York City now. Turns out Satan likes to visit him. They still go out to IHOP, and they get steak, and then they eat it, and they don't eat the eggs. They throw the eggs onto the floor of the IHOP. Turns out Satan's a bad influence on Wallace Gotham. Who would have thought? But, you know, I think deep down inside, he really is a pretty special boy.
Now, Stephen. Could you do an entire recap?
Are you trying to kill me?
I'm not.
Oh no. We all have little Tom. Sometimes he says shrimp in your ear. Then you go to a special place. Long story short, you get to meet God, who's a shrimp. Then you have Satan, who lives in a warehouse somewhere in Boston. And he's not actually Satan. He's the protagonist of the Katamari. Well, not the protagonist. That's the prince. This is a guy that's bigger than him. He's the dad of the game. You know what I mean? Anyway, there's also the guy that I talked about several years ago when we were playing Breath of the Wild. The more you know, he was the guy that ran a hot tub or something in the mountains. Anyway, now he is a cop in Brooklyn, Boston.
Should I go get my cheesecake?
Real Brooklyn
Hi, Bibbas.
cops. Shrimp Lord. Butts, butts, butt, shrimp, clown, 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 let's clown around. Butts, 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 shrimp, 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 in your butt, 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 clown. Clown honk, butts, 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 clown honk, butts, butts, butts. Clown, 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 butts, 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 gargle. Butts, 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 clown, 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 butts, butts, shrimp, 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 butts, butts, clown, butts, butts, clown, clown, shrimp, butts, butts, clown, clown, shrimp. Butts, 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 butter, 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 butts, 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 buns, 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 bugs, 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 bunny, butts, shrimp, clown, butts. It's hard to. Zoop, zoop, zip it, zip it, zip it, skip blah, 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 blah. All right, there we go. Just want to let you know. Wallace Gotham Gorlock's son. His name is just the One. You might think that that's Neo, but no, this is a different The One. The One is a guy that you like. You will know because he drives a trike. He drives a trike into traffic, but he can keep up because it does 40, 45. So not interstates, but he can do the small roads, and that's great. He can get ice cream all on his own. While he's doing it, he's on 2 phones. He's on a phone with his mom, and he's on the phone with the cops in Boston, and he's saying, how's dad? And they say, your dad is doing great. Now, my good friend and grandson, Joshua Jepson, is just rated lit. I have to restart the song. I tried to turn the TV up. I swear to God, I was on up and it went down. It's all right. I'll use this opportunity to think about rhymes that I'll forget when the song actually starts. It's fine. It's fine. Why is everyone saying lit?
Because that's what you said.
Did I say lit?
That's the only word you got out.
Oh, it's because I was trying to say little Josh. Everyone's saying lit, and I was like, why is everyone saying lit? I don't understand. Also, I didn't think of any rhymes. I'm doomed. I'm doomed. I'm doomed. All right, send me to hell. Lil, Jep, yep. He is my best friend next to Kep. I love him and I keep him in my pocket for 3 days at a time. When he comes out, he says, sup? And I say, hey, bud. And he says, yup. Would you like to get some burgers? And I say, yes, I would. And he rides on my shoulder near, and we head down to the burger shop, dear. And I say, I will have a double burger, and my friend will also have a double burger. But the difference is that's one meal for me, but that'll feed him for like a week, because Lil Josh is only about probably 2 inches tall.
So you have Tom on this shoulder.
Yeah, also...
And Josh on this shoulder.
Also, the lore is Tiny Tom is 1 inch tall, but Tiny Josh is 2 inches tall. And that's because they're...
Josh, you hear that? You can take him in a fight.
They're not from the same fairy kingdom. It's a different fairy kingdom. And it's really easy to get that confused, but it's actually completely different. Don't confuse them. Who are... So, there was Tiny Tom, and he lived inside your ear. Then, he would whisper shrimp, and he'd tell you weird ethereal things. You would follow him to a wall. There was shrimp on the wall. You said Ecclesiastes, and the wall opened up, and you met God, who was also a shrimp. Then he would tell you some stuff, and you would say, I've learned enough. Then you drive to Boston, Massachusetts, and you would pay Tom $60, and he would say Ecclesiastes to a different wall. It would open, and it was a little smaller. Inside was Satan, except Satan was the dad from Katamari Damacy. That was a recap of, like, not the trilogy, but enough of it. That song, to the Raiders, probably seemed like nonsense. Everyone that was here earlier followed the song. And that is the weirdest, dumbest thing ever. Where people are like, okay, but the Boston part, okay, yep, and the King of All Cosmos isn't, yep, okay, yeah, this is
Josh
this.
said, yeah, that was nonsense.
Yeah, that wasn't nonsense. 80% of the people here were like, yep, I definitely followed that, and that means that something terrible happened today. Josh, I miss you.
We miss you, Josh.
Come get in my pocket soon, buddy.
We'll play bridge.
We'll break. I don't know how to play bridge. I don't know how to play bridge. I don't even know how to play the one with the fish.
Go fish?
No. Ah, this water's warm. Warm.
Go put some ice in it.
You put ice in it. Why didn't you put more ice in it?
Go put some in it.
I will real soon, but before I do, I want to make a special sound for you. Hold on, I can do this. Do you know I could do that? This is a personal opinion. If you're gonna serve a drink to someone,
Go get ice. Oh my god.
it should have ice in it
I
when
put
it
ice
arrives. It has to have. Wait, we're not British. We don't do the no ice.
Go.
We do lots of ice. This
Go.
is America. Anyway, 300 bits from Crusoe with the. John, Tiny John. Where do we put Tiny John? On the lawn. He's in the grass and he's looking fast and he's trying to ride a caterpillar. That's what John does in his spare
Shrunk the
time.
John.
He's what?
Honey,
You
I shrunk the kids.
You shrunk the John and now he lives in your hand. He is actually 3 inches tall, so he is still really quite small, but he's a little bigger than Tom and Josh, and he loves to ride those caterpillars, and he loves to eat some beans, but just like one bean, he has a pair of tiny forks and knives, and he uses it to cut the beans down. You know, it's a wonder that any of my friends ever talk to me ever again.
Uh-huh.
Tiny Columbo, nice. Tiny John, Josh, and Tom, they got a fight on the lawn, which is John's domain, and he had his beans, so they thought that it was over. But Tom brought a little gun, but it wasn't a real one. Josh had a real gun, but it was really small and it didn't hurt you. They all had a really big fight, and then John found out he had a knife because he had one from cutting the beans, and then everyone was like, I guess he wins. So instead of fighting more, they decided to sit on the kitchen floor, and John shared his beans to Tom and Josh, and they all held hands and they sang.
Tom said, this is the reason I still talk to you.
Surprise, here comes Tiny Tim. Not the one, no, not him. This is the Tim you know, and it's time to introduce him to this crazy show. Josh and John and Tom on the floor, and we say, hey, what's one more? So Tim comes in and he sees the beans and he starts to eat all the beans. I think you know just where this goes. He bends over and out he blows out of his backside. Here comes the gas, big ol' attack out of his ass. And Josh and John and Tom go, whoa, and Tim goes, heh heh heh, I know. But then they all have a laugh, no one died, so they were fine, and they high-five together. Okay, so, thanks.
Tom said, headcanon, Tiny Eddie's been shrinking all of us.
Little John, not the other guy, but Little John. You know, the guy that lives on the lawn and really likes his beans. Well, he went on an adventure to Kansas. He went there and he met Francis. Francis is another small person who is a little smaller at only 2 inches. John and Francis, they had fun. They went to a place called the park, and it's a park, it's a normal park. Couldn't think of the name for the park. They went to the park, but it's a little park, and they were on the swings in the little park. They're called normal swings in the context of the park, which is small. It's a normal park. I could see it in my head. I was like, like, what's that thing called? What's that thing called? Where it's like, you know, it's like a park. Tiny Emil, what's his deal? Well, it's where he runs by and squeals. What's he squealing? Well, today he's squealing that it is his tiny birthday. Not a real birthday, tiny birthday, cause he's tiny, so it's a tiny birthday. But to him on the tiny scale, I guess that'd be a real birthday. He meets up with John, Josh, and Tim, and Tom, and they all share more beans. There's so many beans because they're tiny, so a normal can of beans, which is like 75 cents, they get to share all these beans together and they can enjoy them in the sunny weather, which is where Emil likes to be, in the direct sunlight, because if he does, he actually grows more hair. Please read. If you read, then we can do the art and we can do more game.
New environmentally friendly jade packaging. Tiny Eddie's boxy owl sticks.
I don't think jade packaging is environmentally friendly.
They found a way.
It's also expensive.
They found a way. New expensive packaging. Same crappy products, new expensive box. Tiny Eddie. You like our muffins? Prove it, bitch. Buy them in glass. Oh, please. Adriana's already small, so in this scenario we make her tall. She's actually taller than everyone else, but on the scale that they are small. So tiny Adri's 5 inches tall, and Jules gets to be really small. So he's probably maybe an inch, and he claims that he's 2, but we all know that that's not real. We know exactly how he feels, the inner desire to be something else, something a little more than you're not, but it's okay. We forgave him anyway, and Adri says that's all right, and she pats him on the head, but she has to bend down to do so. With you trying to imply about Jules, I'm not trying to imply anything about anybody. Don't read into it. My brain is gone.
Probably not much.
Adri's 5 inches tall, John is 3, and Josh is 2. Tom is 1, and also Emil's 1. I don't think I said that earlier, but now you know. Jules is 1, but he says he's 2. How many people is that? I don't remember. Oh, Tim is there. Did I say how tall Tim was? Let's go with 2.5. I don't know if that's what you wanted to know, but hey, guess what? It's time for me to go back to the video game, which is why you're here, unless you're here to see me scream, and that's my fear, but now I've gotten about all my songs out. I don't think I have anything else to come out of my mouth, except maybe spew and bile and crap, but it's probably already out.
6,000 bits from J-Geek.
It took me an entire song to say the heights. Tiny Coliseum is here. Don't you worry, it's all year. Tiny Coliseum, it never ends, and it has so many of our tiny friends. There's Tiny Mal cooking tiny things. Everyone says they should tiny sing a merry little tiny song to the tiny god, but not the shrimp. There is also
Tiny God MC.
Who else is there? MC is there. MC's an inch, and Campy's an inch, and Dan's an inch. Sab's an inch.
Is everyone just an inch?
Carlos an inch. Musay's an inch.
You need to go to bed, honey.
I can't think of everyone who's there. I'm just like, I have to very quickly think of everyone who's at Coliseum, and I can't do it. Read the Nintendo Painter gifted a sub to Tiny Tom. 20 months from Samaria Moon. Tiny Dan in a tiny land, eating lots of tiny sand. You'd think that's Tiny Thomas, but no, that's normal Thomas and Tiny Dan. And Tiny Dan has a friend named Stan, and his friend named Stan is honestly the man. He's a really cool guy, and he has a can, and inside's where he keeps his evil plans. He takes it out, and he screams and shouts and says, now we are horses we should mount because we have to ride over there. That's where we're going to get our hair done. They get their hair done and they scream and say, hey, this is great. Now we can play on the tiny swings where they went to the park, and now the stories are all tied together. That was from 6,000 from Grabobly. Oh boy! A Sam says his evil plan is to get a haircut. Yes! Yeah. Tiny Stephen doesn't exist. That's a myth. We've read about it. And we learned that it was fiction and it was never real and we hallucinated it. But I think in another land, you could meet someone like Tiny Dan. And Tiny Dan might have a friend named Steve, but never quite Steve. And Stevens are really tall. We don't come in sizes that are small, only come in large and extra large, and maybe super large somewhere. I think I'm the tall variant, maybe the large variant. I'm just fine, and I finished this rhyme, so don't ask me about Tiny Steve. That's all in your head. Thermodynamics, 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 thermodynamics. Thermodynamic, thermodynamics, thermodynamics, dicks.
Baby
Baby?
apple.
Apple, thermodynamics, thermodynamics. Here we go. Tiny Jared, half an inch tall, and he plays drums that are even smaller than him, cause how would he play drums that were bigger than Jared? He's got these and they're attached to his waist, and he goes around and he also holds a bass, and he's doing the bass and he's doing the drums, and he somehow does the bass with just his thumb, and he nods his head and he does like this, and everyone says, yeah, that's what they do when he walks by. They go, and it even works if you're a normal size, even though he's the size of a fly. So he's walking by and you can still hear the tune and you go boom, boom, boom. That's it. And with that, we're going to pause alerts and go to art.
I mean, they weren't like teenagers or adults, obviously. They were still kittens, but...
Tiny Eddie, but he's tiny Eddie. Tiny like an exponent, Tiny Eddie. Tiny Eddie to the Tiny Eddie, it's Tiny Eddie. Tiny Eddie with a 2 up above, except it's a minus, that means it's small. I'm not really sure if that's what that means. Someone can help me probably know. Tiny Eddie makes the little tiny treats that you like to enjoy with his tiny, tiny feet. He makes them with his feet. That's what he does. It's even grosser than the normal Tiny Eddie, but Tiny, Tiny Eddie, he makes them in his special laboratory full of pigs. The pigs work for him and they speak English and they also speak Spanish. I was not ready for that. That was from Mr. Gameboy. It says, sing us about. I like that. Sing us a
song.
Come on over here and sing us about the Tiny, Tiny Eddie. Sing us a song about Tiny, Tiny Eddie. Sing us a song tonight.
You're not sure how it goes, and that's part of the fun.
But we think you're doing all right.
Yeah, all right's a word for it.